Today we're going to be looking at 10 running backs to help you build your fantasy football team. We're going to be looking at guys who might be on waivers. We're going to be looking at guys who might be undervalued or you guys might be sleeping on. So if you already had your draft, you're going to be in the good. If you're getting ready to draft, we're going to have some guys for you as well. We're looking at everybody here. We got 10 running backs we're going to analyze today. Before we do, you have to click that subscribe button right now. Stop missing out on this information to help you build your teams, help you on the waiver wire, help you set your lineups, and everything else. Stop missing out. Hit that subscribe button and be in the know. But we're going to start things off with ALVIN KAMARA. We talked about him a few times, but the price is right now. RB27 in ADP. He's valued as an RB3. So when he comes back from suspension, which is a lot shorter than what a lot of people are predicting, you're going to get a running back here who's getting touches, getting used in the passing game, going to be seeing targets, going to have upside because you see him score 42 fantasy points. You see him score a lot more in other contests. And this guy can be productive. He is when he's on the field, and even in his low games here, he does have a floor that's all right to have. You're talking about a guy hitting double digits in most contests, and he's going to be using the passing game. This offense is going to be moving a little bit better too with Carr, Olave stretching down the field, Michael Thomas looking healthy. Things might be coming together. Plus, their conference, the NFC South, looks pretty juicy for some good matchups for them. So this could be a very interesting year for the Saints. ALVIN KAMARA, RB27. If you just look at the price tag and not the player, and just look at the player with that price tag at that value, you're getting a decent running back here that could still give you some swings at upside. The age, the injuries, and everything else that's baked into the price tag, it's already there. Now I'd be saying something different if he was valued at like RB19 or something like that, but RB27, RB3 range, you're getting what you're paid for here. You're getting some upside. You're getting some consistency. You're getting a very good running back here for the price. Looking at Antonio Gibson at RB33. I like him at this price tag a lot because he's using the passing game. He's very explosive. Can get you yards after the catch. He can really give you some upside weeks, and he's fairly consistent, and that's due to him being used in the passing game. J.D. McKissic's gone. Those targets are going to go somewhere else, and a lot of those are going to go to Antonio Gibson because he's the pass-catching back out of the backfield and also has size to hammer it home between the tackles. You're going to see him run some routes. You're going to see him get some opportunities. If Howe hits, he's going to hit. If Howe hits, he hits. And a lot of people are sleeping on this Commanders offense, and I don't expect it to be super juicy. But, man, I could see Gibson giving you better than RB33 value here, especially when you see how he's using the passing game, how he can really help you in PPR. I think RB33 is a perfect price. If you're going hero RB, zero RB, and you're looking to start ringing in running backs, you're talking about a big running back here and catches passes out of the backfield, elite size adjusted athleticism for the position, a guy that can really help you out in fantasy. And again, we're looking at price here, not straight up player. Last year was a little bit more expensive as people were speculating on him, but now he's a little cheaper, and the value, like what we've seen from last year, is matching up well for what we're paying now, and that upside's still there. Next, Brian Robinson, RB35, his teammates. And the thing about him is he gets volume, he gets carries between the tackle, a little less juicy because he's not used as much in the passing game. Only one game with over 3 targets or 3 or more targets. And with that being said, that really hurts his floor. But you're looking at a running back getting carries. When a running back's getting carries, then they're getting opportunities to score fantasy points. Might cross the goal line here and there. Might bust out a few big gains. We are seeing some upside weeks. Remember, he's coming back from that injury, the gunshot wound. Came back middle of the year. Looked good. He's very consistent between the tackles. He also has a good athletic portfolio that you hang your hat on too. He's a very stout running back. RB35, I don't see the upside being super huge, but I also see him being consistent with the carries between the tackles and really helping you out in fantasy that way and really giving you something stable in your lineup, especially if you faded the position or if you're looking for a stable backup to mix in there. Next is Tank Bigsby, RB40, and I've talked about him so much. I think I talk about him at least once a week here on the channel, but we got to hammer this home. RB40 is a good price tag for him. It's went up a little bit. I think it was RB44 the last time we looked at him. This is per Underdog Best Ball ADP. We also look at multi-site ADP per 4for4 as well, but RB40 ADP. So Jaguars offense is something you want to invest in. You also want to invest in Trevor Lawrence, and this is a cheap way to do so because he's going to be the backup running back. We saw that fumble on the goal line, but still, 16 games is a long time. He can earn that back. He can earn some touches. He can earn more goal line opportunities. And he's looked good throughout the preseason outside of that one play. Looked good in training camp. Third-round pick, so the team told you they think he's talented. They want to see what was under the hood, and they've been liking what they're saying because they said they're probably going to expand his role throughout the season. Who knows what that means? That could mean 5 snaps to 8. Who knows what that means? But we're shooting for upside here. We're looking at a rookie here with good draft capital and an explosive offense. Travis Etienne, we love him. You can even draft both those running backs for all I care. But RB40, love the price tag, love the upside, love the mystery box here because that could give you something later on down the line. Next at RB41, Jaylen Warren. Dude is consistent. He's a hammer between the tackles. They want to use him in the passing game. We saw that in training camp. We saw that on the clips, especially last year as a rookie as he was coming up. Friend of the channel, too, his dad commented on some of the videos last year when we were talking about Jaylen Warren as he was coming up through the ranks on the depth chart during his rookie season in training camp. 11th in yards per touch, very efficient. 5th in yards created per touch. Upside, if something happens to Najee Harris, and those two are going to be worked in intermittently. Those two are both going to get opportunities. You may get Warren weeks. You may be getting Najee weeks. But off and on, you're going to be seeing two very good running backs. He's a very, very good runner between the tackles. He can give you some upside and some boom weeks. And I like him here at this price range. Next is JERICK McKinnon, RB42. And the thing is, what if we turn that back half of the season, or that back quarter of the season, into a full year? What if we just hit the ground running? Because this dude is oozing with athleticism, one of the most athletic running backs in the league. Catch the ball in the backfield. They know how to use him in the passing game. He's very dependent and can help them move the chains. And this guy has some upside because we saw it last year. 32 and 34-point weeks. That's upside right there. And he can give you a little bit of consistency. This guy was one of the top running backs in routes ran at certain parts of the year before he broke out. And we were calling for that breakout because we saw the routes ran and we knew that you can't run that many routes in this offense before you're finally targeted, and that happened. I got the video on that, and that could continue to happen this year. That could just start off week 1, week 2, and he could be a value at RB42. Something you want to pay attention to. The value's right for this player. Next is Elijah Mitchell, RB44. We haven't talked about him much, but we have talked about him a little bit in the offseason. And the thing about him is, if something happens to Christian McCaffrey, we got upside here. Tons of upside due to his speed. He's explosive. Christian McCaffrey is going to take a bulk of the workload because that is just natural. That is what you do. But that size-adjusted athleticism, the speed, the burst, the ability to just house a run whenever gives him the potential to give you spike weeks. And we've seen it before during his rookie season. That's what's on the left there. That's his rookie season. On the right was the other season last year when he was injured, missing some games. Christian McCaffrey's there. If McCaffrey's there, Elijah Mitchell really doesn't have any value. But he's a tremendous handcuff because of the juice in those legs, and he's done it before. Next, RB41. So we're going backwards here, JAMAAL Williams. And the thing about him, he's solid between the tackles. He's solid on the goal line. ALVIN KAMARA is going to be out for a little bit. Kendre Miller's a player we're going to have to watch because that dude is oozing with upside. Game scripts could go his way as well for the Saints. I could see his numbers reverting back prior to his breakout season last year. But here at RB41 price tag, you're looking at a running back who's going to be on the field, especially early in the season. He's going to get touches on the goal line. He is very dependable, and it's not like he's a bad running back. He's just a good running back who could really help an NFL team. That's what he is. Not really a superstar fantasy football running back, but he is very stout between the tackles, can get it done, can catch the ball a little bit out of the backfield as well. He does have some receiving production over the course of his career. So this is a running back you need to pay attention to. ALVIN KAMARA is still that dude. Kendre Miller's still on the upswing here. But still, RB41, not much of a gamble because We know what he is. We know what we're paying, and it is what it is. Next, Ty Chandler, RB63. He's on waivers in your league. More than likely, you're not drafting him. RB63, 4.38 40-yard dash. More than likely, the RB2 on this team, but this dude has upside. Been looking good in preseason. Looked good in training camp last year. And this is a running back you need to pay attention to. Something happens to Madison, you're going to want him on your team because he's explosive. He's good between the tackles. He moves well. He's dependable. Fun running back to watch at RB63 price tag. You really can't go too wrong. There's also Dwayne McBride there. You really want to pay attention to this depth chart if things start to turn over. Next, and this is our 10th player, and this is my favorite waiver wire get. Maybe draftable in some leagues, depending how deep your league is, or if you just want him, or if you have Rachaad White, you want the handcuff. He might be a handcuff. We want to see how the depth chart looks, but you also want to pay attention to Sean Tucker. RB70 and ADP, more than likely going undrafted. He was very prolific at Syracuse, very productive, very explosive. Fell in the draft due to a heart condition, not due to bad play. He probably would have been drafted if not. More than likely, round 3, round 2 range. At worst, round 4. He would have had significant draft capital. You guys probably would have been drafting him in the middle rounds of this draft if it wasn't for that. But now the Buccaneers got him for a discount, and he's moving up the depth chart. There are reports that he's working in the first team with Rachaad White. Like Rachaad White will finish the drive or start the drive, and Sean Tucker will take the other half of that drive on some drills. So that's something to pay attention to. We need to monitor his snaps in season, but the upside is grand. The upside is top 5 running back grand. The upside's top 10 running back grand. And we got to pay attention to Sean Tucker because we have a prolific player here who has a ton of upside. He's got odds stacked against him still. They are still stacked against him. But things are starting to look good. We're seeing him progress. He looked good in preseason. He's been looking good in training camp. Got to keep an eye on Sean Tucker. That is the guy I'm keeping an eye on week 1, week 2, week 3, seeing how this roster turns and burns and how the snaps are allocated. But let me know in the comments below, who's going to be your waiver wire get, that dandy, that guy you're paying attention to, who you really did not have the room to draft, but you still want. Who you trying to draft that running back in the middle of late rounds? I want to hear about it. Who's your guy? We're talking about running backs every day here. Talking about wide receivers every day here. So there's not one that we're not talking about. But who is your guy? I want to hear about it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stop missing out. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video.